was a pastor or in ministry for 29 plus years, a little over 29 years. I remember having a lust problem when I was very young, about 5th grade actually, and that never went away completely. It was gone for a period of time, at different periods of time during my life, but it was never gone. It's not something I wanted revealed, obviously, because the shame of it all, and especially because of what that lust produced in my life. The ministry, doing something good for God, preaching, teaching, which I absolutely loved and adored. Somehow in my mind, I thought that would offset the anger of God toward these sinful behaviors in my life. I remember the scripture verses in Proverbs, I think it's in Proverbs chapter 5, where it talks about how you find that the years that you've spent have gone to the cruel one. Your hard-earned goods go to the house of an alien. And you find yourself in almost utter ruin in the midst of the assembly, right in the middle of the congregation itself. And that's where I found myself. I found myself almost at a point of complete and total destruction, about to lose everything. And how did I even get there? My wife was noticing things. She was noticing the way I would look at a woman. She was noticing a relationship that I had with a specific woman that I had the affair with, but yet I was able to excuse all those away. The sin became greater than the Spirit of God in me, and I couldn't control it any longer. I had had a couple of affairs during that time of ministry, 2 different affairs over the last 10 or so years of ministry time before it was all revealed and it just all came out. Sheila finally came to a place where she just said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not saying I want to divorce you. I'm just saying I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to live like this anymore. You've got to get some help. That's when I right then said, I'll go to Pure Life. What do you think about me going to Pure Life? I'll go. If that's what it takes, I'll go. And I made a phone call to my superintendent on that night and asked to meet with him as soon as possible. And that's when that whole transition happened. I went from pastoring a church, full-time ministry, to resigning everything. I got dropped off in the middle of nowhere at this little ranch on this hillside, and I felt like I'd been abandoned, but at the same time, I knew it was the right place to be. It was a place I was supposed to be. I knew God had directed me there, and I was willing to endure whatever I had to endure to get my life straightened out. God would do something through a service, through a film, through a speaker, through something that would just rip my heart in two. He kept breaking me and breaking me and breaking me. Times on the prayer trail, time on the ridge, the chapel. Man, I love going in the chapel and just getting on my face before God and just crying my heart out to Him. That's when things just changed. Every week was more change and more release and more freedom and more liberty in the Spirit. Don't believe the lie. There's always a way out. God will make a way out. Right when you think the night can't get any darker, it will come and it'll be a joyous time. God will make a way. My name is Richard, and I've been unchained.